The decision taken by Russian leader Vladimir Putin has dragged the Russian Navy into a civil war. The Russian admiral in charge of the command of the cruiser fleet in the south of Crimea has been expelled for objecting to Putin's illogical mission order. The expulsion of the successful Russian admiral, who had been serving in the army for many years, turned the soldiers under his command crazy with anger. Russian soldiers who started a large-scale riot in the port of Sevastopol set fire to the pier line where cruisers were stationed. Reaching a height of meters, the flames caused massive destruction on Russian warships worth millions of dollars, which will take weeks to repair. The Kremlin is preparing to give up Crimea. The developments in the recent period of the Russia-Ukraine war, which has been going on for almost 3 years, have rewritten the fate of Crimea. Russian President Vladimir Putin, who decided to annex Crimea, which he considers a Russian city with his statement more than 10 years ago, has caused great tension in global politics with this move. The Russian leader, who has become the focus of criticism with his expansionist and aggressive policies, has not given up on the unjust annexation decision in any way, despite the justified reaction of the United Nations. The point that Putin, who thought he could implement a similar move on Ukrainian territory years later, did not take into account was the appreciated self-defense struggle that the Ukrainian armed forces would show. Having achieved critical victories on the active battlefield thanks to the military and financial support provided by the Western Bloc countries led by the United States, the Ukrainian armed forces have determined a much more offensive war strategy by 2024. The Kremlin administration, surprised by what they suffered in the face of the cross-border operations organized by Ukraine during this period, literally backed into a corner, especially with the change in the balance of power in the Black Sea. During his statement on the first day of the war, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky guaranteed that as a result of this war, they would celebrate not only the victory of Ukraine's absolute independence, but also the liberation of Crimea from the unjust Russian annexation. Along with the events this year, the armed forces of Ukraine, which have signed critical moves under the leadership of Zelensky, who, unlike Putin, has once again shown that he has not forgotten his promises, have completely changed the prevailing perception of the Black Sea. These victories achieved by the Ukrainian armed forces, which managed to destroy a Russian patrol vessel named Sergei Kotov, a Karakurt-class Russian corvette ship, and a Russian attack submarine within 4 months, have deeply shaken the false balance in the Kremlin palace. Despite all this, the irrational decisions of Putin